Hello everybody, it is Ben back again, and I am back in my usual accommodations. I'm back home at my apartment. I had a great trip to New York, but it's good to be back home now, especially after it was a long train ride back yesterday, so I'm glad to be back. But anyway, getting to it, I didn't do the video for the Chicago game last night because mostly I was just really tired. So I'm doing it today. Nice that I had a nice little break between games, not another game till Saturday. But anyway, let's get right into the Chicago game. Starting off in the first, yeah, sure, the Habs had the advantage in shots, but you never really got the sense that it was really anything that high quality of shots. They were kind of just skating out there. They were getting some shots on them. You kind of tell it wasn't really anything that great. And before the end of the first, the Blackhawks go up 1-0. Off of poor play by somebody who's been having a lot of them lately. Artem Anisimov, as he was coming into the Habs zone, Emelin bites way too hard on him, which allows Patrick Kane to skate in all by his lonesome. Anisimov gets to pass off up to Kane, and Kane is alone to snipe it. And if you leave Patrick Kane alone to snipe it, you're going to have a bad time. But that is how the first ends, and we go into the second, where again, all seems to be going well. Things are kind of going back and forth. Both teams getting some good shots off. Nothing crazy happening. Pretty standard period. Until eventually, on the Oduya goal, guess who got caught too far up? Take a guess. Alexei Emelin gets caught way too far up. Byron tries to come back to cover for him, which becomes a bit of a trend throughout the rest of the game. Byron just flying back to cover for Emelin. Petrie actually makes a really good play to break up the pass between, one of the numerous capable bums that the Blackhawks have, tries to get a pass over to Panarin, who is wide open. Petrie makes a great play to break up the pass, but unfortunately, the puck goes up to the point where Oduya takes a shot, and it hits a body, and it goes in. A bit of a fluke goal, but hey, sometimes they happen, and yeah, another one you could possibly blame on Emelin. And with about 4 minutes left in the second, Habs get a power play, and they're starting to put the pressure on a little bit, and then Weber rockets a one-timer slap shot from basically the face-off dot on Crawford's right side, and it goes right off his head, and I don't see the point in having a concussion protocol and having concussion spotters if something like that doesn't take a guy out of the game. Like, he got hit by a guy who can shoot a slap shot 108 miles an hour, basically point blank from maybe like 20 feet away, because our face-off dot is not that far away from maybe 20 or 30 feet away from the goal. And that doesn't get him taken. Like, it's not even me wanting Crawford to be out of the game just because it'd be easier for the Habs. I'm just saying, like, how? You're not going to be feeling good after you take a Shea Weber slap shot to the head. But anyway, I digress. We go into the third, and the Blackhawks go up 3-0. And hey, guess who? Guess who screwed up? On the Panarin goal, Emelin just completely cheats over to Petrie's side, where there's already two guys covering the guy with the puck. I think it was, I don't know, it was number 8. Schmaltz for the Blackhawks. Two guys already covering him. Emelin thought they needed some more help, and leaves Artemi Panarin open in front of the net. And similar to Patrick Kane, if you leave Artemi Panarin in front of the net wide open for a snipe, you're going to have a bad time. And that puts the Blackhawks up 3-0. That's where I was like, okay, I'm going to watch the rest of this game no matter how much it hurts me, because I'm a jackass and I'm a glutton for punishment, and for some reason I like watching this team hurt me. But then something amazing happened. With 7 minutes left, Brendan Gallagher, who was actually one of the few forwards who had been playing well and skating hard throughout most of the game, and has been for the last few games, Brendan Gallagher does all the work on the play, gets it out front to Paul Byron, who taps it in up high for the goal to get the Habs within 2, and that'd be his 19th on the year. And that's when they kind of had me like, okay, guess I should stay. Maybe they could do something, because I'm an idiot. And then, with about 3 minutes left, a Shea Weber cannon from the point after a pretty nice bounce pass off the boards from Galchenyuk. cannon from the point goes in, and they're within one, and I'm like, okay, and then they had me completely. So that I just turned completely back into fan mode, and I was like, okay, we got this. And then after that Byron goal, the Habs had really like turned the pressure up to 11, which they really should have been doing all game. But you know, they've been a third period team lately. I don't know. But it seems like they're going to get the tying goal. It seems like they really are. And then, in my opinion, Claude Julien pulled Carey Price way too early. And with about a minute 20 left, Jonathan Toews puts it in the empty net to make it 4-2 Blackhawks. Yeah, whatever. Okay, cool. And yeah, that's how the game would end. Final shots were actually a bit ludicrous. They were 42-24 in favor of Montreal. They started putting it to them in the third, but it was just too late. So, pros and cons. Emelin. I honestly don't know what to say about him. It's just weird because we've seen him before. He can be, I'm not saying he can be a great defenseman, but he can be a good serviceable defenseman who's also pretty physical and lay some hits. He has been that in the past. He was that for a good chunk of the first half of the season. Like he can be a good defenseman, but just lately he just seems to be broken. I don't like the plays he's been making. Like if I can tell you're screwing up your defensive zone coverage, that means you're really screwing it up. So from here on, I can't imagine Julien won't see that. Now we have Davidson and Jordy Ben now. We got them at the deadline. We have options now. Keep Davidson and Ben in and put Beaulieu back in and not have Emelin because they did finally mercifully take Emelin away from Petrie and gave Petrie Davidson for like the last, I think, 13 or so minutes of the game because Petrie just the entire game you could tell it was making him look worse because the entire game he was just backing up way too early just because he was preparing for disaster with how Emelin was going to play because that's what was happening all game. And there was probably 3 or 4 times that I saw Emelin would pinch too far up and you'd see Byron have to come like flying back to cover for him. He was just ridiculous. So I would love to see Davidson stay in and then put Beaulieu back in for Emelin for next game. Pros, some nice things. Paul Byron is now at 19 goals, 1 away from 20, which is also 1 more than Jonathan Toews has on the year for about $9 million less. So this Paul Byron, I know I've said it so many times over the course of the season, but just his acquirement and the subsequent contract just keep looking better and better. And another player who seems to be getting out of his funk a little bit over the last few games, Brendan Gallagher, has been looking really hot. He's been playing the old Brendan Gallagher way, and he's been getting a few assists the last few games. I wouldn't surprise me if you see him kind of get back into the swing of things soon, too, especially when his playoffs roll around, because that's his kind of time, I think. That is, if the Habs make the playoffs. You don't want to get too premature because with the way the East is right now, honestly, anything could happen. The East is so just... the East is a shit show, especially the Atlantic. But anyway, so speaking of the shit show that is the Atlantic, next 2 games coming up are very important ones. 2 games, a home and home against Ottawa, who are 2 points behind, or no, just 1 point behind us now, and they have 2 games in hand. So these are games we need to have. We need to have. There's not really any choice. You need to get at least 3 of the 4 points in these games. Be preferable to just get all 4. And in regulation, that'd be really nice. But anyway, we'll see what happens. Hopefully we'll see Emelin out of the lineup. But until then, I'll see you guys next time.